Hey, what up, everybody? It's J-Rock right here. Today I'm gonna be hitting you with a movie review. We're gonna be reviewing The Last Days of American Crime. Now, this is a Netflix original. So this movie was originally based on a graphic novel, aka a comic book and so forth. As you can see back here, I collect a lot of them. So I have the actual book right here. This is Last Days of American Crime. I have actually not read this yet, but I bought this a few months back. I got it because look at that. Doesn't that look like Alyssa Milano? I was digging that cover. Plus, it's written by Rick Remender, which I'm a fan of his work. I've enjoyed what I have read of his, some X-Men, some Avengers, stuff like that. So yeah, I have a few other books here. The director on this is Olivier Megaton, I believe is his name, if I'm not mispronouncing it. I think he did Transporter Part 3, which had a lot of crazy action scenes. It was basically non-stop action, no story. So based on that, I kind of have a vague idea of what to expect on this movie. We'll see, we'll see. One thing that worries me about it is that it's 2 hours and 20 minutes. So if it's gonna be non-stop action, I don't think you can keep that going for that long. So if the movie's gonna be that long, it's gonna have to have a little more story to it. Yeah, so I'm going into this blind. I have not read that book. I much like I bought the book blind. I just know it's about crime and so forth. I believe it's like a bank robbery. Not 100% sure. And the movie again, I just saw it right now. I turned on my Netflix. It showed the movie there. I was like, hey, I have that graphic novel. I bought it a few months back. So I decided, you know what, I'm gonna throw it on and then do this review for you guys. I am pumped for it, so I do have some expectations. I'm hoping it's good because, like I said, I am a fan of Rick Remender's writing. But as with movies, it's more about the director than it is about the source material a lot of the time because they change a lot of things around. So after I watch this movie, I probably will go ahead and read the book just to kind of see the differences. Right, so the three main characters in this movie is Brig being played by Edgar Ramirez, Kevin Cash being played by Michael Pitt, and Shelby Dupree being played by Anna Brewster. So they're the three main characters. This movie, right away in the beginning, it starts off with an awesome scene where some guy's being tortured. He's some type of mob figure, and Brick puts a cigar to his mouth, and when the ashes fall, the whole place is gonna blow up because there's like gasoline and so forth all over the floor. So as he's walking away, you see this scene here. When he's walking away, he gives him the cigar, walks away, and this scene looks very reminiscent of the art style in the graphic novel. Reminds me a lot of the cover itself as well. Now this takes place in the near future where they're starting to enforce this new law. And in this new law, what's going on is they've created this technology where anytime someone's gonna commit a crime, this signal goes off and everybody's brain starts scrambling and they're physically unable to commit crime. Like if you try to do something that's against the law, it's like the equivalent of when somebody tases you with an electric taser, right? So they start acting that way. So it's gonna go off in the next few days, this new law. So that's why it's called The Last Days of American Crime, because once this law cracks off, nobody will be able to commit crime anymore. And the cops will still be able to abuse and do what they want, because when you get hired as a cop, you get implanted with something that blocks off the signal. So you can arrest the criminals and pull out guns on them and whatnot, and they can't defend themselves because their brain will be scrambled. So I thought it's a very interesting premise. So these guys want to pull off this robbery before this new law takes effect. And also, Brick wants to do this partly for revenge because his brother was killed in prison and he doesn't quite know by who. So he has his theories of people who he thinks had something to do with it. Now, the character of Shelby Dupree, she's brought in as kind of like the love interest of Brick. So she meets him at this bar. They start flirting and they go to the bathroom, get it on. We've seen this done in movies before plenty of times. It's kind of like a trope in these type of movies. But here, when they go into the bathroom, the sex scene I feel is drawn out way too long. It lasts a lot longer than it should. Then Brick is talking to this other guy about a Russian weapon. And that scene where they're talking in the table, that's drawn out a lot longer than it should as well. So these are little things that these scenes could have been cut a lot shorter and save some time on this movie in general, because the length of the movie was a little bit of an issue. I don't know if this was the director's or the writer's sorry attempt at a love triangle, because Kevin Cash is also hooking up with Dupree. So it seems like there's a love triangle here, but at the same time there isn't, because Kevin Cash never has any feelings towards her. So he's just like whatever, he doesn't care. If anything, Brick seems to be the one that at first it starts off as a strictly physical thing, and they're crime partners. So he's just like, well, she's what's around at the moment. But you see him slowly start to catch feelings towards her. When at first he's very stoic, very quiet, very I don't trust anybody type of guy, and he starts, letting her into his life, if you will. Now, the acting on this movie was a little bit of an issue for me at first, because for about the first 40 minutes of the movie, the acting was not that good. As the movie went on, you saw it get better and better. I could say the same about the directing as well, because you saw these actors, as the movie went on, they kind of were still figuring out how they want to deliver the lines, how they want to play these characters. Now, when they got farther and farther along, I will say around the 40-minute mark, you kind of start seeing them really improve and really get a gauge on what it is they're doing with the character and how it is they're trying to portray them. So I thought at that point it started really improving. The directing as well, you started seeing the scenes and stuff not dragging out so much, getting straight to the point. But unfortunately, after about 40 minutes, by the time this happens, a lot of people have already lost interest in the movie. People already turned off, saying, you know what, this movie sucks, because it doesn't get off to a good start. The starting is rough. You also see Dupree. She's here being like an informant for the FBI, and she's snitching on her partners. And she has a valid reason. They have her little sister trapped in this like jail in another country or something. So so she's trying to get her out of there, and Brick finds out about this, and he lets her know. Now, I like this because it gives the character depth, it gives an alternative storyline going on, but they didn't pursue it as much as I would have liked. For the most part, it's kind of linear, straightforward. It's about the bank robbery itself. Then you try to give Kevin Cash some father issues with his dad. Him and his dad are arguing. This scene was actually pretty cool, but again, it was dragged out a lot longer than it should have been. All in all, there was a lot of cool action scenes, especially one where the guy that came out in the beginning that you thought had blown up to his death, that Brick left with the cigar, pops back up. So I like that they kind of bring back that character. His face is all jacked up, his body's all jacked up. He survived that fire. He says the only thing that kept me alive was wanting to find you to get revenge. So that scene, I thought it was unnecessary. It didn't need to be there. Didn't really add much to the movie, but it was very cool. It was awesome. I'm glad that scene was in there. I think the movie was dragged out a lot longer than it should have. I think this movie should have been around an hour 45 minutes to 2 hours. You could have easily chopped off 30 minutes. So the editing could have used some work. Also the directing, the camera angles and so forth. Some of the scenes were dragged out way too long. And also some of them were, like the camera angles and so forth, I thought were shot like way too far away, where it was scenes that would have benefited from being zoomed in closer to the actors. So on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd probably give this around a 5 or 5.5. It was decent, it was okay. I would not buy this movie in no Blu-ray. I would not rent this movie. But if you have Netflix and it's on there for free, it's worth checking out to pass the time and so forth. And you might even get more out of it than I did. If you like this type of content, go ahead and hit that like button. Also, if you like watching movie reviews and you want to see more of them, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. That way it'll keep you updated on my future videos. Other than that, I'd like to thank you guys for taking some time out of your day to check this video out. And I'll check you guys out next time.